Hi folks, Vinny from the band Sponge. We're out here at the Loft in Saline, Michigan, recording studio on this gorgeous spring day, getting ready to start the recording of our 8th studio record. The record is called, ta-da, The Beer Sessions. We partnered up with Pledge Music to make this all happen, and we can't thank you folks enough. Now, you might ask, well, why the Beer Sessions? Well, it's simple, because we need each other. Brewers need music, and Lord knows we need beer. What we decided to do for each track that we cut, we're bringing in a different craft brewer to talk music and to talk beer. So here's the deal. Come along for the ride, pour yourself a pint of beer, and let's get started. Let's get working on the Beer Sessions.
For anyone who wanted to know, this is how the song of the day is chosen.
What devil can What devil Yeah, that'd be pretty dope, man, that approach.
Man, I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on.
Well, there's like the brakes. We should make those brakes clean, you know?
Yeah.
Other than that,
Can we come in on the upbeat? Like, what devil, da da da, da.
yeah, ups are cool. And maybe you should, that was pretty cool when you kept playing a beat through that, man. Like that chorus. What?
Oh, yeah. Well, let's rock them. Yeah.
Over but the screw, cause you king among the ruin. I'm back. When you're fed with the dogs, you run short on hold. When you're fed with the dogs, you might wanna shoot. When you're fed with the dogs, you got unusual knowledge. It ain't the kind of shit they wanna teach you all the cows break. What devil, what devil, what devil? What devil? That might be odd. Let's start at the top.
Yeah.
So like,
It's my problem here right now is mechanics, not.
Sure.
It's just weird.
you thought it was gonna be easy to get to the office, didn't you?
Well, no.
You're talking about the sweet beef. Okay, yeah. Where does it go? Right now it goes up to the C, right? Hold on. Let me prepare for this edit.
What devil, what devil, what devil came on the ruin? What devil came on the ruin? What devil came on the ruin? What devil came? Don't know what they're screwing, 'cause I'm king on the ruin.
What do you think? That water lager 12 pack. Way to go, right? in downtown Detroit. Go figure, right? Detroit boys, Detroit beer. There you go. Get that, and yeah, we'll lay the guitars on. We're good to go. I got carded.
What gig? Why the word gig?
Well,
Gigging.
That's actually the spear. It's like a tri-prong spear.
Okay, like a trident,
Yes, like a trident, yeah.
Right, yeah.
So if you're really gigging frogs, you take a flashlight. You need no gun, because if you shoot a frog, they will sink.
Oh.
So you really don't want to shoot a frog and then try to get them. So you go out in the dark, you shine a light in the frog's eyes. They're blinded, they freeze, you stab
Halt,
them with
halt,
a gig.
DEA, halt.
Yeah. So they freeze up. Then you put them in your bag.
Okay,
Right?
is that good?
Yeah, get about 10 of those.
Right?
10, 20 frog legs.
Dude,
Meal.
yeah, absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I love frog legs. Love them. You don't have to just go to Florida to get them. They're good everywhere, you know?
Oh, yeah, Florida, they grow the mutant frog legs.
Yeah, right?
Come on.
No, they're like Schwarzeneggers. It's
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
like, it's a
yeah.
little too much like, yeah.
Put something in the water there.
And partner, there's a tiger in these tight-fitting jeans.
All right, folks. Sponge Beer Sessions. We're here with local St. Clair Shores favorite, another great Michigan beer, Evan from BAFFIN Brewing. How are you, Evan?
I'm doing well.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
So, before we get into the different beers that you brought, we were talking earlier about your history with brewing. Did you start brewing at home? You mentioned you started brewing at college, but you had an interesting story about your first experience with brewing beer at home. And you want to talk to the audience about
Yeah,
that
sure.
first experience?
Like every home brewer at that time, I kind of had no idea what I was doing, and I really didn't think of anything around me. I'd been brewing in college for, I think, like a year and a half at this point, and decided that in order to pour the wort to cool it down into a cooler, the best place to try to save my parents' house was to pour it in a bathtub into the cooler, just in case it splashed and kind of got everywhere. The thing I forgot to, I guess, consider was that the brass spout on the cooler just scratched the hell out of my mom's bathtub, and she just got it resurfaced. The whole bathtub just got it all redone because they were thinking of selling the house at that time, and it cost us $500. And so my buddy was helping me; he was brewing with me at the time, and we just scared for our lives. He ran out of the house. Second he heard my mom just scream for the top floor, he just ran out of the house and just kind of just went away at that point. But yeah, I was in a load of trouble, and thankfully the whole beer thing worked out for me, because I don't think she would
absolutely.
forgive me.
But you were hell bent on brewing beer.
Yeah,
But that-
absolutely.
Like the meager beginnings, but then talk a little bit about the education that you began to get.
Yeah,
regarding your
once the
skills.
first beer that I brewed, I kind of got the bug. A lot of people, it happens, they just fall in love with it. It's like cooking, it's like chefs, they want to learn everything about what they're doing. So I bought every book I could, read them all, and then I decided that I wanted to become a professional brewer. I wanted to get trained, so I went to the Siebel World Brewing Academy in Chicago. And that's where
Sounds intense.
Yeah, it was a lot of studying, but also a lot of drinking.
And no bathtubs at your porn.
No,
stuff.
no bathtubs, no bathtubs.
What do you want to kick off with here today? We got some of your core beers and
Yeah.
some seasonal stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have 5 different beers that we brought. We don't can or bottle anything yet. I would love to can fairly soon, especially we're in a boating community, so I feel like it would be great.
Oh, yeah.
However, right now we do everything in growlers, and we kind of brought a range. So I have everything from lighter to super hoppy and high alcohol to chocolatey and stout. So
Awesome.
yeah. So the first one that we should really start with is the Crossroads Cream Ale. The Cream Ale is a American style that really was born from lagers, but it's kind of what Bud, Miller, and Coors all used to taste like before Prohibition destroyed beer.
Right, which
Yeah.
we don't know anything about what
Yeah.
that tastes like. We'd have to go to your place to try this. Does anybody
Absolutely.
else locally that brews something like this?
Yeah, I mean, there are a number of breweries that brew cream ales. You have to go to the ones that like to brew specialty beers, because not a lot of them want to do it, because it is such a more mild ale. It's a more mild beer. It's not a buzzword like IPA or wheat or fruit.
Sure.
You know, it's not a buzzword. But if you just want, a great session beer, something you can sit down, have a couple, not going to get loaded, You know, that's kind of the one. We call it a great lawn mowing beer or a great boating beer. When Prohibition was repealed, they put a alcohol limit on beer. They said it can't be more than 3.2% alcohol. And that exact number could be wrong. However, we have two glasses right here. Perfect. Thank you. Cheers. So they put a limit on beer, and so they kept watering down. They used things like rice and corn to make beer less flavored, less alcohol. People started liking that. It's kind of all they knew, and they just kept rolling with it and making it taste less and less and less and less.
Got it.
But
So-
this is kind of brings it back to before they started destroying it.
Excellent. Cheers.
So cheers. So you're getting some malt. It'll be very creamy, and cream ale, that really comes from the corn. So we do actually brew this with flaked corn. You get kind of a corn kind of undertone, but it really just smooths out the beer itself. It's not going to be hoppy. It's going to be easy drinking. You get a little malt, little breadiness that comes in there, but aside from that, it's a very clean beer. It's not going to ruin your palate.
And the use of corn, is that exclusive to like a cream ale, or is it used in other beers?
It is used in other beers. The only beers it's really used in are American style lagers, Bud, Miller, Coors, all those guys.
Got it.
The cream ales are really the only other beer, aside from a couple specialty craft breweries that want to throw corn in this or that.
Yeah.
Some ESBs have corn in them, but that's a whole nother thing.
So 5.9,
No, this is 5.1.
5.1.
Yeah.
Okay. Really easy, great flavor. Session beer, correct?
Absolutely.
Wonderful. And we're doing samples, by the way, folks. We would be drinking pints, but we got many beers to talk about and try.
Thank you. Yeah, the next one, also another light beer. It's we call it Heffenwolf. It's a classic German style Hefeweizen. So it's a German wheat beer. We brew it in the old German way. We do a decoction mash, is what it's called, and we just
what?
It's called a decoction mash. We boil the wort itself, gets more flavors out of there. But this beer really tastes. You get a lot of the wheat flavors in it, and a lot of banana and a lot of clove, and that's from the yeast strain itself.
So there's just for people that don't get beer
Yeah.
or understand this this process. This banana that you're tasting is not like banana in a beer.
No, yeah, we don't actually throw banana or cloves into the beer itself. That just comes from the yeast strain and the esters or the flavors and the aromas that come from the yeast. The majority of the flavor that comes from beer is actually from yeast, and if you just throw a different yeast strain in, it won't taste anything like the same.
Got it.
So yeah, it's pretty fun. So, and you can see it's super cloudy. It's dead giveaway. It's a wheat beer. Essentially, long proteins make it cloudy, and it's unfiltered.
That's science.
Yeah, it gets a little much at that point. So cheers. So if you smell it, you can absolutely
I
get the
already
banana.
smell it.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely get the banana
right away. Still an easy drink.
Yeah,
Light.
absolutely.
Yeah, dynamite.
You got a little lemon undertone. Again, that's from the yeast and just kind of the way we brew it. You get a little bit of malt, also just from the way we brew it. It's the old style. It takes a long time. It's probably the most pain in the ass beer to make in our brewery, but just for how long it takes.
Well,
All right, so we'll move on to some stouts. The first stout we're going to try, we call it the Milk Jagger. It's a milk stout, and the reason why it's called a milk stout is because we use lactose actually in it. So when people are lactose intolerant,
Yeah.
we actually put just a lot of lactose into this beer. So
Yeah.
they really should not drink those at all. But we brew it with vanilla and maple syrup. So we formulate it to taste like a vanilla maple syrup malted milk stout.
wow.
Yeah.
But this is like one of the more popular
Yeah,
beers that you're brewing over at Baffin, correct?
Yeah, this is actually the first time we actually brewed it, and it was an idea that I had from a bicycle trip that I took. I was in Vermont. I had a vanilla maple syrup malted milkshake, and it was just amazing. The maple syrup's made from the trees in the
So
backyard.
immediately you're thinking beer. I'm going to put it.
I was thinking beer, absolutely. I always am. It's kind of the thing. But so we made it into a beer, and it turned out really well.
These are the fabulous brand new Sponge Beer Sessions mugs.
Love them.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It's one hell of a sample.
The syrup flavor, it's not overpowering.
Mhm.
It's balanced really
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. Yeah, we don't want anything to be so sweet that it's kind of just destroying your mouth. We also want people to be able to enjoy the beer. So your typical stout drinker, they can drink this and they won't be like, oh, this is a sweet beer and I'm
Right.
gonna get gut rot.
when I hear syrup, man, I'm thinking, well, it's going to be a little sweet.
absolutely.
But I don't get that. It just probably rounds out the flavor. Really,
Absolutely.
correct? Yeah. Wow, fantastic. Tell us a little bit about the Bob Barley.
So the Bob Barley is one of the first beers that we ever perfected, at least in our eyes. It is an imperial coffee stout. It's 8%. It's thick. It's a ton of chocolate notes just from the grain and the malt that we use. But we also use real coffee in it. And the way we do it is we cold brew the coffee in the beer itself. That way you get none of the acidity of that coffee has. You don't get any of the burnt flavor that coffee has. But you get all the flavor, all the chocolate, all the nuttiness.
So this is good for you.
Yes. But what we do with this though is the real coffee. It's only about 4 or 5 milligrams of caffeine per pint. So it's about a sixth of a can of Coke. So it's really not that much caffeine. So people that usually drink decaf, they're already getting that much caffeine in their decaf coffee. So it's fine.
But you got the flavor of coffee though, but it's
Yes.
not a lot of caffeine.
Absolutely. That's because we only use about 3 pounds of coffee per every batch that we make. But that gives it enough where it backs up all the malt that we use. That gives more of a coffee, more of a chocolate flavor. It all comes together. It's very smooth, and it's a great breakfast beer.
Wow.
Yep.
Cheers. Wow, a great breakfast beer indeed.
Yeah, you definitely
Wow.
get the coffee, but you definitely get the stout as well. It's not going to be bitter. It's not going to be astringent. It's not going to be acidic. So the next one that we have, it is...
Last but not least.
Yeah, it's born from another low alcohol of 9.8. It's born from one of our beers called Mosaic Mo Problems, and that name comes from not just Notorious B.I.G., but it comes from Mosaic hop is the hop that we use exclusively in this beer. However, this is the double version of that. So Mosaic Mo Problems is 7%. This one, Double Mosaic, Double Mo Problems, is 9.8%. So essentially we doubled the alcohol from the next level.
And we were talking at the brewery, by the way light affects beer.
Yes.
And you mentioned to me that if you poured a beer,
Mm-hmm.
put it in the window during
Yes.
the day, let it sit for what, 5 minutes?
5 minutes. That's it.
And then poured a fresh beer.
Yep.
It would, same beer,
Mm-hmm.
it would taste different. The light
Yes.
affects it that quickly.
Yeah, that's where the term skunking came from. Really what happens is the humulin lupulin gland of hop.
Stop!
It's,
Say that
I'm
again.
sorry, the humulin lupulin gland from hops. That's where hop kind of gets its acid, the acid, the beta and alpha acids, but that's a whole nother thing. But that's where all the flavor comes from too. If you rip open a hop, it has all these yellow kind of bulbs inside. All the flavor is kind of stored in there. That flavor and those acids are super, super susceptible to UV light.
Got it. Yeah.
So the second that UV hits that beer, it starts to skunk it. And skunking actually turns into the exact chemical. So that acid will change. So it'll flip. There'll be a reaction. Oh, we have the beer here. There's a reaction that flips. And what happens is it turns from this wonderful bouquet of either grapefruit or pine or fruit that's coming from these hops to the chemical that skunks spray. Yeah, same smell. So this one, the Double Mosaic, Double Mo Problems. Cheers.
Wow.
It's going to be super floral, but it's going to be very smooth. You're going to get a little alcohol bite in the back. So that's what we're looking for.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
It is powerful. The Mosaic hops, they're very tropical fruity, so you get the mango, you get the citrus, you get the grapefruit. You get all of that.
I think
as
you
well
love
as,
this.
Yeah, as long as a little bit of honey at the very end, just to kind of mellow out the alcohol, because we did boost it to giant numbers for this beer.
And again, the ABV on this is
9.8. Yeah.
You guys brew some rockin' beer, man.
Thank
Like
you. Appreciate
rockin'
it.
Beer. Evan from BAFFIN.
Well, thank you for having
St.
me.
Clair Shores, thank you. Evan, dynamite. Well done.
All you hear is when you fed the dogs and you lived in the fire.